Hey friends, Daily Dub Tuesday edition, Red Bull edition. I got a long day. Here in about an hour, I need to drive to Baltimore, which is just under 3 hours from my hotel here in Richmond, Virginia. I got a meeting at 1 o'clock for an hour. And then I got some other things to do there, and then I drive home. Or, well, not home, but this hotel room home, which is home for a few days before Toylanta. So I need a little energy, a little Red Bull. If you didn't see on my Instagram, I am doing a mini dub for yesterday, today, tomorrow. Not a full dub life. I'll probably put it up sometime Toylanta weekend. I didn't want to film a full dub life as I'm a few episodes ahead now. And I don't want to get too far ahead because I don't want you to be seeing things that are a month or so in the past. So I'm filming a mini dub so you can see the little things I get into this week. I actually, even though I'm going to 3 different cities, I don't even know that I'll go into one comic store. I'm going to try, but this is a pretty jam-packed few days with all the driving I have to do. Anyway, speaking of driving, I have a wonderful 2017 or 18, I think it's an 18, maybe even a 19, Dodge Challenger with the Hemi. And I used to have a Challenger several cars ago, and so it made me think of my Challenger and maybe decide today I'm going to talk about cars and all the cars I've owned and what some of my favorite cars I've driven have been. And then we'll move on back to another question. I only have one question left, which may be a 2-video question. But please, in the comments, either A, leave me some things you'd like to talk about, or B, respond to this video with some of your favorite cars that you've owned. So I view cars, and really I view cell phones the same way. They're like a utility to me. They're not a possession. They are not an asset. Things that are depreciating the whole time you own them. I don't really retain value. Certainly cell phone does not retain its value. I don't think a car does really anymore. I know some old classic cars maybe one day, but I don't think now we live in that era anymore. And, you know, the whole drive them off the lot and they lose their value and all this stuff. I've had a car payment since I was 16. You could get a car. I mean, so for 23 years, like that's maths before the finish in the Red Bull. 21 years, I have had a car payment, and I just view that as a regular bill. I know a lot of people like pay off their car and not have a car payment and then drive that car till it dies, which I understand and get completely and respect. I'm just not. That's just not me. I try now, especially, to have newer cars, have newer technology in them, and new things like that. It's just the way I approach cars. Although my current vehicle, I may drive till I pay it off, till it dies, and so forth and so on. But anyway, here are all the cars I've owned since I've been driving for 21 years. I think there's 11, so you can see what I'm talking about. The first car I owned was an 89 Acura Integra, which I would have purchased in 1997. And it was old and had like 150,000 miles. It was my first car. And I liked it fine. I think that a lot of these early cars, I would have put sound systems in or done stuff too. That was kind of what I tinkered with when I was a teenager, early college. And that's what everybody was doing in the 90s. So, you know, I replaced the speakers and had some 6x9 boxes and, you know, all that stuff. So that was my car I had as a junior, senior in high school. And then the first car I got in college was a 96 Eagle Talon. My Acura was gold. The Talon was like an Eclipse. Eagle was like, I don't think they exist anymore, but one of the Dodge brand, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, all of those brands. So I had Eagle Talon, looked like an Eclipse. It was red. It was relatively new at the time. I guess I probably bought it in 2000 or so. And it was a 96. Kind of sporty little thing. I was very happy to purchase that vehicle. It was more than I should have purchased at that time in my life, too expensive. But yeah, I wanted to be one of the cool kids. So I got that. And that one, I think I changed out the taillights for clear taillights, and I put like the blackout headlights, and I put in a full system in that vehicle with the pull-out screen and subwoofers and amps and all of that jazz. And that was my Talon. I had that for not long, actually, maybe like a year and a half. And then I was married during that time, and we decided we needed something a little more practical. We got a 4-door Hyundai Sonata, which was a 2000. And this was probably like 2001, 2002. So it may even have been new, but I think it was slightly used, like 10,000 miles or something like that. And that was a really good car. You know, just a family sedan. It worked well for us. I don't think I did anything to that car. I think that's the first car I didn't put in systems and stuff like that. And then we needed a second car once our jobs made that happen, once my ex-wife finished cosmetology school and stuff like that. We didn't have extra money, so we bought from my grandfather an 86 Chrysler LeBaron, which then I would drive for a while, which was exactly what you think. And I had that for a while, and then I don't remember if I sold the LeBaron, but I ended up buying a 98 Chevy S10 and a little pickup truck that was lowered. And I mean, I had all kind of crazy stuff to it. Taillights. I had a GameCube in it that you could play, pull out screen, big system, all of this. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. I had like tinted back window with the license plate up there. Dumb. I don't know why I had that. But that's what I thought was what I wanted at the time. I had that for very little amount of time. I had neon lights all over it. Don't do that. And so then I decided, I guess having that for a very short period of time, maybe just a year, it was time to graduate and be a responsible adult. And this is probably like my mid-20s. So I bought a 2004 Nissan Xterra, and that I bought new. It was the first new car I purchased. And that was a good car, and I drove that for a while through being, then I was divorced, and I had that car, and then I was in a different relationship, and I let her drive that car for a while, and I got from a buddy who needed to get rid of a vehicle, like his dad's vehicle he didn't need anymore, a 2001 Honda Civic that was in nice shape and had like very little miles on it, and we were selling it really cheap. So I purchased that as a second car then, and I had two cars, even though I was not married anymore. But like I said, my who became my fiance at the time was driving the Xterra. And then ended up selling the Xterra to Victoria when she needed a car, and I was just driving the Honda. And then I sold the Honda, and I was living out in a rural area out in the country, and I bought a big boy, a Chevy 2500, 2004, I think, Chevy 2500. So it was older, but had like rarely been driven. It was somebody's like third vehicle that they just only driven, they want to go mudding or something. And that truck was great. I loved that truck. Huge, get you wherever you need to go, loud, all that jazz. And then I moved to Atlanta. That ain't gonna work in Atlanta, because they got like 10 miles a gallon, maybe. Got rid of that, and that's when I bought my Challenger, 2011 Dodge Challenger, bought it new. And the lowest end, you know, I could not afford any type of upgrades to that vehicle. The vehicle's already expensive. And I didn't want like a Hemi, even though I did want a Hemi. But the gas mileage on the Hemi is horrible, and I was living, again, in Atlanta. So I needed something that would do a little better. I had that for a while. It moved with me to Alabama. It moved with me to Oklahoma. And then when I moved back to Atlanta, or in between the time of living in Oklahoma, I think, I was driving back and forth from Oklahoma to Georgia, you know, not infrequently, because that's where my family was, and the girl I was seeing and all that kind of stuff. And so I then traded that Challenger for a 2014 Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Again, to make even better gas mileage, I think I get over 40 miles a gallon when you're driving 1,100 miles every other month or something like that. You want that. So I had that. I loved that car. That car was great. But then we started doing more stuff's family, or like you see on my adventures. Now, a lot of people in my car, I like to drive. I don't mind driving. I also don't mind riding with somebody. It's not like a power thing, but you know, a lot of people don't want to drive, so I don't mind driving. So I decided to move to my current vehicle. The 2017 Hyundai Santa Fe is a fully loaded vehicle, has all the features, everything you ever want, and can hold 7 people. And so that's the vehicle I have now, so that can haul everybody around. And I like it. I love that vehicle. I've had it for a few years now, and it's great. It's my favorite vehicle I've ever owned, actually. It can drive itself, has all the safety features. And I've learned that now is the most important to me, is not how it looks, but how it drives. Is it comfortable? And what features does it have? Has become the thing that's important to me. So I know that's not like the most interesting thing other than like all the random cars I've owned. But driving this Challenger made me think of my old Challenger I had several years back. And I just wanted to share the cars I've owned. So is anybody here owned a lot of cars like that? Or you just own one, or what's your favorite car you've owned? Some of my favorite rental cars, the Cadillac CTZ I had in Ohio recently was awesome. My favorite one I've driven. I like the 300, Chrysler 300. And then I've driven a, what is the SUV that I've driven recently? I don't remember, but I've driven an SUV that was like a Nissan, maybe a Murano. It's like a Nissan SUV recently that was really good as well. So that's your daily dub for today. I hope that you have a great Tuesday. I'm about to hit the road here in just a bit. Long day. I'll talk to you tomorrow for hump day. Get ready for Toylanta, just a couple days away. I'm going to see Mr. Pence in 2 days. So until then, squeeze it.